What does that say?
Welcome to the chat.
Live chat.
Guard your privacy and abide by our community practices.
Fine, you leave it.
I was planning not to abide by our community practices.
All right, cool. All right,
Paul,
break
okay.
it.
No, we've got more of us in it, that's it.
But the more you push it away, the larger my head
That's
looks.
like,
Look, that's really good quality, and you've got a bit of present in there, a little bit of
Yeah,
Christmas
look,
paper.
it's, yeah,
And just in the corner, I'll put it in the corner.
biggest.
size,
Biggest.
size.
Yeah.
My jolly face.
This is my jolly face. Haha. You see, Darth Vader's not very jolly. Haha. There we go. Not very jolly. So, thank you for coming. Are you going to do an introduction to your live cast, or am I going to do it for you?
Go for it, nice.
Cheers.
You haven't been around for a while, so.
Not for ages.
Too busy.
Too busy.
Too busy. Where are we? We're in a board game cafe.
Hopefully we can hear you.
Called. What's
Charts
it called?
and counters.
Charts and Counters?
Yeah.
Ah.
In Bristol?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yes.
supposed to be.
No.
It's supposed to be in Exeter,
Yes.
but the train screwed us up,
Ouch.
so we had to pivot.
Very quickly. I was 30 seconds from boarding the train before we changed, so it was truly the last responsible moment.
Yeah, but we're here in Bristol because we couldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah. I always like to think of my hometown as the place you go when you can't get anywhere else.
We genuinely didn't want to give Nigel an easy opportunity.
No.
Wanted to make it as difficult for him as possible.
It was too quite difficult.
But we're a board game cafe. We've just been playing board games really this morning.
Yeah, so we played 2 board games, and how many
What about
boards were
cards?
involved in those board games?
Card games.
No.
They were card
No
games, weren't
boards,
they?
card games.
Yeah.
But they were good fun.
They were.
Well, one of them I enjoyed more than the other.
Which one did you enjoy most?
The fun employment.
Yeah,
Fun
no,
employment.
fun
Fun
employed.
employed.
Fun employed, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that one. That was quite good.
Tell them about it, Jeff. Let's give it a quick
Just a bit of
overview.
So if you've never played it before, it's a game where you're given a number of you have to apply for a job. So the job is picked out of a card deck at random, and you have to select some characteristics and then justify why your characteristics qualify you for that job.
Now, bearing in
But the
mind-
second variation was where you didn't get to see those
That
characteristics.
was more fun.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind the characteristics were not totally serious.
And some of them were not safe for work.
Yes, so they're not coming on this podcast.
No, it was quite quick, but we talked about, me and I talked about, you could do a safer, more agile version.
Yeah.
Which is, the terminology is more
Yeah, I thought it
agile.
had a lot of potential actually.
Yeah, it was a really good idea.
So watch this space.
Fun employed.
Scrum employed.
Scrum employed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So watch this space for that. And when we play Cards Against Humanity, which if we mention at all on this thing will be taken off YouTube. So
we
suffice
won't
to
do that.
say, you know that game. We played it. It was
I've never
funny.
played it before.
You never played it before?
Never played it
Jeff had never played it
And I
before.
probably won't play it again.
Jeff won't play it again.
I lost.
I won, obviously.
Nigel was darker than the rest of us. Pretty much.
So,
Who would have guessed?
Christmas special,
Yes.
Christmas gifts.
Oh yes, Christmas gifts. We have done, every year we do Christmas presents for each other. Oh, we've got a comment. We've got a comment.
to
Wait,
Christmas
read it.
past.
I'm now going to read this. Oh, it's gone. Nigel, you're great. I missed that one. What did you
Goes
say?
to Christmas past.
Yes. No, let me tell you why. I do love coming on these podcasts, and I do when I can. It's just often I'm in a different country when they happen.
Nigel has a job.
I have a job, yeah.
Nigel works.
Unlike these two, I have to work for a living. But I think I missed. I've just mentioned the song now. I'm exceptionally sad that I couldn't make the song Band-Aid or Scrum-Aid. I would have just blown you away. It's fine.
If you thought me and Paul couldn't sing,
I can sing.
didn't hear nice.
I can sing ish. But alas, no, I couldn't make it. I was working in a different country, which was annoying. But I see it went marvellously. There were almost 3,000 views. Over.
3,500.
It's
Over
almost
3,000 views. It's almost viral.
almost viral.
Almost viral.
They're like Paul.
But if you look at the totals, look at it this way, right? Look at the total people on Earth and how many watch YouTube videos, and look at the percentage of Agile people and how many watch YouTube videos. I reckon you've got a percentage that's pretty similar to Justin Bieber or something like this, maybe.
Comparable. Yeah, I'd say
I
so.
like that. I like that. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy your record, but I would buy that idea. So yeah, congratulations on that. Let me give you a sarcastic round of applause.
Well, it was in aid of one of the two what do you call it, the ideas of Christmas.
Yeah,
One is charity,
Yeah.
the other is presents.
And fun.
We did have fun. We did have fun.
A lot of fun.
By the way,
Probably a little too much fun.
if you've been listening to their song, or as I like to say, suffering, remember there's a duty of care you have to pay now for charity, something to charity, to show, I don't know, apologies for listening to the song.
That
Who
was
did you donate? Didn't
St.
you?
Peter's Hospice.
Good
I
for you, Nigel.
donated.
Good for you, Nigel. Well done.
Choose your own charity.
Thank you,
Yeah,
mate.
we don't embarrass ourselves just for the hell of it.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be some good
There was
involved.
a
Greater
point
good.
to it.
It's a greater good.
So, so we decided very, very short notice, literally 2 days ago, that we would get each other some presents.
But when we say we decided, Jeff said, "Hey, let's get presents," and Paul and I went, "Okay."
Jeff says it, let's do it.
Yeah, that's how it's worked for years. So we've got some gifts. My gifts are amazing, by the way.
Who wants to go first?
I'm quite good, so I don't want to. If I go first,
I think I'm probably the most boring, and
Okay.
I'll go first. Now.
Alright, go on
Okay,
then.
so you do your presents first. To
Leave
us.
Nigel till last.
So none of you are
Nigel-
working then. Not today, Helen. Not today.
We work very hard.
Helen, very hard, Helen.
This is work.
So Helen Meek, you chastised myself and Jeff this week for not working, and now look at us. This is serious.
This is, we've
These
developed.
these podcasts don't happen by
They
accident.
don't make themselves.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of conscious effort from Paul.
Including family get-togethers.
So
Oh,
Paul's
I'm opening them a present that's not even for me.
That's for me, is it? Okay.
That's for both of you.
shared.
That's for both of them.
Didn't expect a
So this
curveball like that.
and then there's one for me, which looks
Look at the size of this. Look, oh, it's enormous.
dum 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 dum.
It's heavy.
Let's do Jess first.
Heavy. It doesn't sound or anything.
It's got 5 people watching this.
5 whole people watching. Look me.
Ted
5.
Baker.
Look at
Hip
you.
flask.
Look at
Hip
you.
flask.
Yes. So Paul's basically playing up to the stereotype of alcoholic.
So Jeff has a hip flask for when the training gets a little bit hard.
I do like. I've got to be careful now because the guy that runs Ted Baker's in a bit of trouble,
He
isn't
is,
he?
yeah.
So I can't really say I like Ted Baker.
Yes, auto-tune.
Fingers crossed for autotune.
I told them I could auto-tune their voices for that song, and they didn't take me up on the offer.
It was already live by the time you said it.
Yeah.
So no, I do like Ted Baker's style.
Yeah.
I like the pouch.
But not
if you don't
not
want
the
if,
sexual
no, I do.
misconduct.
if you don't want it, I'll have it.
No, I do.
Okay.
I'll
Just
do it.
check it for.
Thank
So
you.
I'm now gonna.
Sorry, mate.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I am going to open my present now. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Let's have a look.
Move that away because it gives it sizes.
Oh, I've got a virtual blaster.
Together with your Darth Vader.
Augmented reality virtual blaster. This will allow me to virtually blast things.
You've got to use
It
it with your
gives
phone.
20 games. Oh wow.
With your phone,
This
you
is
can
quite good.
Bluetooth it to your phone,
Yeah.
and you can basically use it as a shoot 'em up through your phone.
Oh, so it turns your real life world into a shoot 'em up.
Yeah,
Oh, how interesting. That's really rather good. And better than my gift.
drinking your pint.
Anyway.
So basically, the story so far is Jeff likes alcohol, Nigel likes gaming.
Yeah.
That's
Am
the
I
message
hit
so
the mark? Am I
far.
hit the mark?
Pretty authentic.
But
Wait,
he's had
Merry
Make
Christmas.
it-
Merry
make it-
Christmas.
he's had to find something that would fit both of us.
Yes, this is for both of you.
Look, we'll do it together, one end each.
Hold it in front of the camera.
You got nails.
Not really.
Oh no!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So it's the
Hold
camera.
up to the camera.
To the camera.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Right way up.
This is, let me explain.
Oh my God.
This is Serbian rakia. So I did some work in Serbia early this year, and this is the Serbian version of kind of an everyday drink. It's basically brandy,
Okay.
and they would drink that alongside a pint.
So it's like a chaser.
Yeah.
And obviously you bought this with us in mind. Of course. Months
So
ago.
we can open it now. We can have one with you. No, not here. We won't do that.
No, we'll do it
later.
later. We'll break the
Save it
license.
for
We'll
later.
break the license. But we're going to have some of those later. That looks lovely. The flavours look like they are foreign.
Hashtag lethal.
Yeah, cherry, blackcurrant,
Apricot, one of the apricot.
apricot and flower, as far as I can tell. What's this one here? Can
Yeah. But it's I had it to drink over there, and it's
Any ideas?
an acquired taste. But I thought you could try it out today.
You acquired it.
I think, yeah. Okay, so whose gift next then? I'll do mine next.
Okay,
so my
mate.
gifts that need a mild explanation. because I put a little bit of thought into them.
That's the best
in a
gifts
way.
do.
So we're going to give it a go. Now, this is for Paul. Paul gets the smaller gift, and this is for Jeff, the larger gift. So Paul,
Shall I go first?
you go first, Paul, and then we'll explain why we gave you that.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Wreck my faces. It's a transformer.
It's a transformer, a robot in disguise. It is Optimus Prime, the transformer.
Optimus Prime, Siege, the Wars for Cybertron trilogy.
And I'll explain why I got it. So I thought agile metaphor, transformation. And Optimus Prime is a lead transformer, so he's the leader of transformation. And his motto is, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. So the idea being he is very noble and august and shows the right principles. And the other reason I'm getting it was Paul and I did a video years ago using Transformers as a joke for transformation.
No, I didn't. You and Kenneth did.
No, sorry, no, not me. Paul, you filmed it. You were the,
I was there.
cameraman.
I was there.
I was interviewed by Kenneth in glorious potato vision of at least 3 pixels, talking about Optimus Prime and Transformers. So I thought it'd be a lovely little gift for Paul there. So there we go.
Thank you very much.
Geeks. Wait till Jess sees his.
Stretch Armstrong.
Show the camera. Jeff's got Stretch Armstrong. So let me explain this. Stretch Armstrong is a elastic toy or flexible toy, very malleable toy. What words could we use there? Flexible, malleable, adaptable, supple. Agile. Yes, a very agile toy. So it's a symbol of someone who is incredibly agile and flexible, but also it's a bit of a metaphor. So again, Stretch Armstrong, you can stretch him, he's malleable, but if you take the pressure off, he goes back to his old shape. That often happens in companies. They apply Agile, they take the heat off, and then watch, when you stop applying heat, he goes back to the old shape. But here's the real reason I got him. Don't you think Stretch Armstrong looks a bit like Jeff? Do you reckon? Look at that. Look at the two of them. Look at the two of them.
Put them together.
Put them together.
Put him there.
Okay, look at that.
And then put
Jeff
Jeff next to his head.
next to Jeff. See, look.
See the same thing.
I used to have hair
Jeff.
that colour.
Jeff Watts and Stretch Armstrong. There we go. So there we go. We've got Stretch Armstrong here. Hello, Jeff. I'm Stretch Armstrong. That's for you, Jeff. There.
Thank you, mate.
Maybe your latest child will enjoy that at some point.
You can still buy.
Flexible and agile, and
Right.
Paul is a great transformer, a lead transformer. There we go. That's my gift from me to them. How cool's that? Likes in the comments, please. Rock on. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Merry
Well done. Well done.
Christmas,
Well
mate.
done.
Merry Christmas.
But now comes Jeff's presents.
Right.
Ooh,
Right.
We're expecting great things.
So
great things.
Paul gets 2, Nigel gets 1.
Isn't that always the way? Isn't that always the way?
Nigel's cost more.
Ooh, nice. Let's have a look.
So, however you want to do it.
I've got-
up to you,
Oh, hang
Merry
on, I've got the
Christmas,
tiny one.
That's what it says.
I thought it was going to be the big one.
No.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, mate. Love you guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
Merry
No
Christmas.
dispense foil wrapping paper as
Foil.
well. Foil.
Did you wrap this? Or
Yes, I wrapped it.
Because the wrapping quality is quite
very
good.
good.
Very well done. Jeff's a good rapper, by the way.
My rule is only ever buy things that are in a oblong or square shape.
It's
so
a good, they're good boxes
It's
too.
easier to.
Okay, then that's-
Is there any order?
You-
I should open it?
Why didn't you do one? I do one, then you do one.
Okay, mate.
No rush, Paul.
This is
So they only treat you if you want. They're well paid.
Bully's quiz book,
Ah,
including a dartboard, 3 darts, and a 48-page quiz
and
book.
you just mentioned Dart Club before we came online. Before we came on Flight Club.
Yeah.
Where we went a
Thank
couple of
you,
years ago for Christmas.
Super.
Super smashing great.
Super smashing great.
Can't beat a bit of bully.
Can you win a speedboat though? That's the question.
I hope so.
Can you win a speedboat? And I'll get open my present.
Yes.
Let's see what's inside.
Actually, for me, it wasn't.
I have a tile mate. Find your keys, your phone, your everything. So, there we go.
What was I trying to say?
Which one is that? Do I lose my keys a lot?
You lose shit.
I lose shit? Yes, I do. I lose
I mean,
everything.
how many MacBook charges you got through this year?
Oh, loads. Not this year, but I've got through MacBook chargers quite a lot. Also phone chargers. I lost my my earphones. I've got the AirPods. I'm on my 4th set of AirPods. 4th.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. So
So you stick that on it.
yeah, and
You
then
know where it is.
You won't find- you won't look at it.
fantastic. That looks amazing. Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to use that on my keys forthwith.
So it's technological and useful.
And useful. The best type of agile. And now the last one. The last one.
It's a pair of shoes.
It's not a pair of shoes.
I don't think it sneaks a look as it's coming. It's nice.
Everybody has their own way of opening presents.
I like to look. I look as I go.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Is that come out backwards? It's a micro drum kit. I'm as yeah.
So what? I'm not going to explain it. You explain it.
What do you not explain?
You play the drums
Why
in
have I
the band,
brought
didn't you?
you?
So because I do like playing the drums, and a lot when music comes on the radio and on the stereo, I do tap the table a lot. Jeff's noticed this.
Well, you do a lot of
I
it.
do a lot of this, and so now I don't need an air
The
drum.
amount of fun that you had.
With a set drum kit, yeah. with
On
a
the
drum
video, I
kit.
saw you in the video.
We got the drum kit set up just for that.
Good stuff.
Might bring out my inner Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there.
Thank you, mate.
Merry Christmas.
I'm gonna have some fun with that. Thank you, buddy.
It's all right.
Really nice. Thank you very much.
What lovely gifts we've got. What lovely gifts.
Love Christmas. Love Christmas.
So
that's
well, that's not it, is it? Because Christmas is also a time for looking back.
Yeah.
Reflection.
Well, if you look back on the year, what would you pull out as a sort of agile highlight, agile memory?
And agile, it's been interesting, isn't it? Because it's very easy once you've been doing it a long time to lose sight of the where you've come from. And it's also when you start out. I remember going to gatherings, and everything would just be truth bombs. Every session would be, "Oh my God, that's amazing! I never thought. Oh my God, oh my God." And these days, for me, it's a little bit more evolutionary. But I'll tell you what I've been quite liking. I don't know enough about it, but I've been dipping my toe in the water of the Wardley mapping stuff,
Yeah.
which I've been finding quite interesting. It's become a big thing overnight, even though it's been around for a long time. I've been quite enjoying that as a concept and playing with it a little bit. So I think something like that has been my 2018 highlight so far, I
Okay.
think.
Cool. Mr. G?
I'm trying to think then. Probably, yeah. I feel like I've given a lot in terms of volunteer work this year.
Well, you put a lot of effort into the gathering, didn't you?
Yeah, and that took probably more of my time than I thought, and I ever thought it would. Some people just gave up really early, but a lot of us stuck at it, and it was it was no, it was
Some quit, some don't.
yeah, but it took I think I gave a lot back in terms of time this year and effort this year. So, but I know it was hard. It was hard work at the time, but I kind of feel it was rewarding for me personally that
But
we got there.
it's interesting because the gathering, you did make a lot of changes to the gathering, didn't you? It was different to gatherings I've been at before.
Yeah.
That was quite cool.
We tried
It's
to
interesting-
break the mould a bit.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if the gathering, because they've done this, is the gatherings going to do that? It's going to be interesting to see whether they'll take that on and build on that or not. But I think you did a good job. I was quite.
By the time it finished, it was a sense of achievement and pride, and it was exhausting.
Helen, mate. Missed it.
Say
Say
it
it again,
again.
Helen. Say it
Adam, we
again.
missed it.
But
Paul will continue his speech, but say it.
it was. I had this is the first. I had proper wobbles at some point, like it was emotional wobbles at some point because I was that stressed.
My
and
shoulder was
that,
wet.
That tired. I was tired and emotional, but it was probably worth it in the long run. And time for
Do you think he's moved Agile forward?
Lose the
Do you
accent.
think he's moved Scrum forward?
difficult to say. It's like Nige says whether it goes if there's gatherings go back. But I'd like to think a lot of the feedback we got was that it was nice to hear some alternative perspectives and the keynotes were the best part of it, and that was it was the best. Thank you, Helen. It was. I think it was the best conference for a long time.
I enjoyed it, and I've been to a lot of them.
And if nothing else, I was proud to put my name on that as someone who organised it. So it was worth it from that perspective. It didn't seem like it about 2 weeks before, but it was worth it 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
It was good. That was my kind of volunteer. I felt I gave more as a volunteer as I had done in previous years last year.
What about you, Jeff?
It's been a busy year for me.
Very busy year for you, personally.
Yeah, I've done a lot. So I want to change my mind now. I was going to say something about the gathering, but now I don't really want to give you too much credit. But it was good.
Story of my life.
And that was the thing I liked about it was I was really impressed with Tim Harford. And I think he's been saying a lot of things for a long time that have underpinned the theory in a practical sense, if that makes sense, of Agile.
But he never really probably knew that.
No, he's not talking about Scrum, he's not talking about Agile at all, and we didn't get in there because of that. You didn't get in there because of that, nothing to do with me.
Careful.
Yeah, sorry. But no, I think that sort of message, I think
Someone
a
liked
lot
that.
of people liked the fact that most of the keynotes were nothing to do with Agile, but were everything to do with Agile. I thought it broadened people's horizons away from their neighbours.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good thing.
And if that's one thing I take away as something that people remember, then I think I've done a good job.
And I find it interesting the fact that you put a lot of effort into that, moving the Scrum Alliance into that direction. And yeah, I got an email yesterday from the Agile Alliance talking about a really going ultra technical.
Really?
Yeah, they are. But that was just one. But that's one stream, isn't it? I think at the gathering.
They've separated them out, haven't
Yeah.
they? The Agile Alliance, the Agile technical.
Yeah, they
gathering.
want to get a really technical stream in there.
Yeah.
I think it's horses for course. I think having all the options available is good. But it's just for me, it's interesting when you said about nothing about Agile but all to do with Agile. That made me have the sudden realisation that I've seen a few keynotes at these Agile conferences that were all Agile but had nothing to do with Agile. All Agile terminology, jargon and everything, but literally there was no
opposite.
spirit or soul of agility there. And I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So just go back to the personal. So from a personal, you've achieved quite a lot personally this year.
Well, I achieved is a strong word, but I've done a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've even had emails from people saying, "Well, you've had a busy year." I think, well, yeah, actually, looking back, I have had a busy year. But
Even though Helen would disagree with that, he has had a busy year.
He has had a busy. Yeah, Helen, he's had a busy year.
busy year doing nothing, Helen.
But a busy year.
But yeah, TV show. Yeah.
That was good. But that's this
YouTube
year, was it?
channel.
Scrum Master Talent.
Yeah.
God, so much has happened this year, hasn't it?
That was this year. Was that early this year? Was that?
It started sort of February, March. New courses, new clients, all sorts of
A
things.
lot of new. New was the word we used here. New.
Competitions,
Yeah.
cards.
It's like you spent a lot of time at the start of the year doing Advanced Scrum Master, doing that launch.
Yeah, yes.
And that took a lot of effort and a lot of time.
You realise Helen's watching YouTube while she's supposed to be working.
Yeah. Someone out there is paying for Helen to watch this. Just point this out.
Faithful.
Yeah, they like that. But yeah, so for me, so that event, that investment, I've been doing videos this year as well. I would just have really long, weird videos on YouTube.
Really loud videos.
Very loud. And they're complaining because I don't quite get the volume levels right. And so I'm sort of talking nicely and also it goes like, and then I do this and then.
Don't listen,
Hello!
Don't listen to them while you're driving your car.
Well, you shouldn't have video. They're video podcasts.
I'm not watching them, just listen to them.
Well, watching they're better. But so I've been putting those out this year, and that's been something that's been actually entertaining, but a hell of a lot of work. So I'm hopefully be finishing them up in the new year, those for a while. So that's been good. But it's been cool.
Now I like you.
Oh, thank you, Helen.
like
So in general, for me, you forget. Like I've moved house this year.
Have you?
And I've forgotten that completely.
We
that I
didn't
was
get
gonna
invited.
Yes, you did.
we
You know
did.
that you came naughtily. Let's not do that publicly. I moved house this year and everything, so it's been quite a lot on for me personally as well as work-wise. And just to wrap up the year, my daughter lost her first tooth this morning. So one of the front teeth has come out. So it was quite interesting. No, Darcy, the oldest
Cheers,
one. Thank you, Darcy. Darcy.
Cheers to Darcy.
There we go.
Baker.
One tooth, Darcy Baker out there with one tooth missing, which she's quite happy about. So it's funny how, but that for her is her entire universe. So all this Brexit stuff and everything, and yet for her, the most important thing in the universe is the tooth's come out. So it puts it all in perspective
It does.
ready for Christmas.
Any New Year's resolutions?
Lose weight.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, well, I've lost loads of weight and then put it all back on, so I've got to take it off again.
Well,
And I'll do that after Christmas.
My daughter gave me a cuddle yesterday and says, "You're really skinny." I don't think I'm skinny.
She's delusional.
I think I'm
She's
fine.
delusional.
You're skinnier than we've known you forever.
No,
No, I don't think you're as skinny as you were.
no. I'm a stone heavier
Yeah.
than my
The
life.
photo, your photo on.
Right, it's in the
Yeah.
back of my book.
Yeah.
Really funny.
No, your photo, your social media, your YouTube photo. You are lighter than you are now.
So what he's telling Jeff is just put weight on.
You put on a bit
for
since then.
Christmas.
Don't know that's true actually.
Well, maybe it's just a good,
I've been
good
this weight
camera angle.
for over a year.
So Nick, whilst they go on about flirting about their weight,
But in terms of New Year's resolutions,
Yes.
so you're going to lose weight.
yes, I am.
That's
100%.
quite-
See me in Washington. I'm going to Washington Agile 2019, and I've lost weight.
You
by
go,
then.
Lee? Have you submitted?
Soon. By the way, if you've got any ideas for topics, give me a shout. I've spoken about everything over the years, but I don't know what people are interested in at the moment. So tell me, and I'll put something in on it.
What about
I don't know. I'm not going to speak about things I don't know about. So, what's your New Year's resolution, Jeff?
So I don't really make them, but I do have some goals. And one of my goals is because my family life is changing
Yeah. Oh yes.
big stuff?
big time. Going back to being a little person daddy. I need to, and I want to.
And you want
I
to?
do know, so I need to, and I want to scale back the amount of time that I'm working.
Away from home.
Well, not just that, but at home as well. So I work from home as well as working away, and I want to be able to switch off more.
Yeah.
So people email me, and I get back to them relatively quickly, and I
Yeah.
need to.
Slow that
I
down.
need to slow that down a bit because so that I need to just take a little bit of a step back and realise that things aren't going to go to shit if I don't reply quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, and even texting and stuff about work. You're working on the weekends. I can see that because you're texting me about work stuff on the weekends as well. That's got to stop.
Yeah, well, I have an obligation, and I feel obligation, and it's important. It moves things forward. It makes things happen quickly.
But it does set a precedent that you're
Yeah,
going to do it again.
so that's something I'm looking to do, as well as the other things I'm going to do. I've got different things, a new Cal course and CSP course and stuff like that. But from a personal level,
Yeah. Yeah.
bring that back.
Slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And yourself?
Me, I don't. You know what? I don't really know yet. Is that wrong? I haven't really made any New Year's resolutions yet.
You've got another couple of weeks left, so
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
don't know what I'd like to achieve next year. Is probably do something more for me personally than for other people.
It's okay. You can look after your self-care.
Well, yeah, just to try and push my own agenda a bit more. Don't
What
laugh.
is your agenda?
I don't know.
Find an agenda.
I've
then
never
push it.
known.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to work on. I've got a couple of ideas to do personally. Biggest regret in
We'll do
2018.
that. One thing I want to say though, one thing I saw that's really good is Agile 2019 is going to have a self-care track.
Is it?
So the idea of self-care basically. I think a
Mental-
lot of
mental health,
Yeah,
like-
mental health, physical health.
Yeah.
I think a
I
lot
think
of
absolutely
coaches
should.
have burdened themselves up on the way.
Well, not just
Trainers as
coaches,
well.
anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
And so getting that sort of sustainable pace back is I think important. So that'd be kind of cool.
Well, someone came up to me in a user group meeting this year and said, "What's your kind of view on that whole
Yeah.
about as an agile coach? Is that
Yeah.
something you should get involved with and something you should try and not advise on, but be aware of?" And I said, "Absolutely, you've got to be aware of it. That
Yeah.
it's actually it's a real issue
Yeah.
these days." I don't think I'm qualified to deal with it,
No.
but you've got to be aware that it's quite know where your boundary is and where it stops.
Well, I mocked it in that Devil presentation I
Did
did
you?
about how a lot of agile coaches talk about sustainable pace, eat too much like me, drink too much, stay up too late and burn the candle at both ends.
True.
And they present just an image that isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's what people pick
That's
up.
what
They
people
don't hear the principle, they just see the work hard, hardest working man in Agile type, James Brown type approach. I think we're going to get on top of that a little bit as well. But it's hard when you get paid per day. You know, so I can understand the issues for a lot of people. But I think that's why I want to do Agile 2019, to do that track.
You've never been, have you? Never been to Agile?
No, my secret shame that's now just been outed on this podcast is I've never done the Agile conference. I've done all the others, but never Agile.
Surely you're a shoo-in for a presentation, a submission.
Well, we'll see if any of the three people watching are submitters or presentation track viewers, however, owners, chairs. Yeah, I need that. I don't know what to present on. I've got loads of things I can talk about, but I've got nothing burning in my heart at the moment, so I don't know what I would put in. So I'm going to have a think about that.
Be you.
Yeah. Oh, but then
Your story.
Actually, what you believe.
Yeah. Nigel's opposed to Agile. It's just finding a track for it.
No, let the track find you.
I think, I don't think. Don't worry too much about the track. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I can just get it in there and see what happens.
Regrets?
Could be
Helen
interesting.
asked about regrets.
Regrets.
I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
Sorry, Frank.
Thanks. You got it, you got it.
I was just processing the lyrics.
What's your regrets, Paul?
My regrets.
Rakia?
Yeah. No. I don't have many regrets. I don't think. I think regrets. Working too much, maybe sometimes. Not spending too much. It's when you get letters from your kids. I put a letter on Twitter. This was a couple of months ago. That my daughter basically said, "Daddy, you work too much. My only wish, she knows what she's doing, but my only wish is that you spend more time at home and you didn't have to work." I was like,
ouch.
So sometimes,
Ouch.
my biggest regret is probably,
I'll trade that for good behaviour. How about that?
yeah. But going back to my office when I probably could have just closed it off for the evening, and carrying on emailing, carry on doing stuff. That's my biggest regret. I mean, we are very lucky, but sometimes I take the work too far and I do too much from a time perspective. That's my biggest regret. It's not, and especially at Christmas when you realise, crikey, my kids are 9 and 7, and this potentially could be, one of the last magical Christmases that we have.
Yeah.
Still time, mate.
I know. Well,
I'm through.
Oh,
What about you, Nige?
biggest regret.
biggest regrets? I don't
Apart
know.
from missing out on the single.
Apart from
I,
doing
admit,
the Agile
I
song.
do genuinely regret missing the signal. Signal?
Yeah.
Single. Yeah.
Nige, we wrote that Jira line for
Just for
Nige.
Nige, yeah.
Of course they did. Jeff would never normally sing that himself. He would get me to
I
sing
don't-
it.
I don't swear.
Do swear. So I would like to have been there for that. I feel I've missed out on a few things just again because of work. But also I've just been regrets. I don't know. I don't really regret my year too much. There's nothing much. I can't think of anything like work-wise or
No.
personal-wise I regret this year. I think it's bumbled along pretty nicely for me. What if I could do? I would like the advanced Scrum thing to be a bit better for me. It's quite hard to get people to be interested in that and sign up for that. And the reason I regret that is not because I want to sell it, because it's a pain, but I just find it very interesting. Pushing on the more advanced, more getting real Scrum Master doing really exciting, cool things.
Yeah.
I wish I just had a little bit more opportunity to do that. So maybe the shape of the work that comes in would be interesting in that more advanced space. But that's otherwise it's been quite a good year actually. Thank you, Jeff.
One of my philosophies might be too strong a word, but one of my views is that don't regret what you have done and regret what you haven't done. And I think this year is a pretty good example of me not doing much.
All right.
I basically said yes to a lot of things,
Yeah.
so I don't regret any of them.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't regret anything that I've done. Have I not done something that I wish I had?
What about that's the elephant in the room, the gathering. You were part of the gathering and you decided not to do it. Was that something you regret, or that you think that was the right decision?
No, so that was a conscious choice. So I actually did something. I was active in stepping away from it, and I'm still happy that I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy that I signed up for it. I'm happy the way that I did what I did, and I'm happy that I wasn't there at the end. In a way, yeah, no, I am.
Okay.
I don't regret it. I think it needed to be done.
But it wasn't something at the end that you thought, I wish I was a part of that. You think, the impact that you had was deserved and was right.
Yeah. No. To be honest, I probably thought I would have done, but no. No, I was quite happy with that. Yeah, I think that's something that's happened with age. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really feel sort of I missed anything. I still had fun.
Yeah.
Still got something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Proud of you.
Thanks, mate.
Right. Glass is empty.
Mine's not.
Mine's not.
Well, there's the standard.
Standard. There you go. Are we done for this live
Thanks for
podcast?
joining us.
So, can I do a shout out
Yeah,
to
go
the
for
public?
it.
So, as part of this live edition, our day doesn't stop here, so we carry on now.
Right.
And we're going to carry on to a different pub, no doubt. And there'll be more recordings. And I have about a week's worth of work to edit this and put it down into an editable, palatable, digestible format that will appear on the Agile Pubcast. And that will be going out probably early next week, depending on the amount of time I spend editing it. So there we are. So that's coming up. So keep tuned for that. Subscribe to the Agile Pubcast, and you'll hear that next week.
See my brews, can you?
Yeah. Oh, this is the best thing ever. We've not mentioned Jeff's amazing story.
So on the way here from the train station this morning, Jeff said, well, I won't steal the punchline, but Jeff said, have you noticed the lump on my forehead? And
We both said no.
Over to you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Can you see I got a lump on my head?
No.
No.
Come on, no.
Nobody
it
can.
doesn't show up well.
No.
Tell the story.
Well, that's good. I actually got a big sort of, well, it's maybe not that big, but I got a big lump on my head here.
Yeah.
But I got headbutted by a dog yesterday.
You have to now explain how
I
and
don't
why.
know what kind of dog it is. I'm not an expert.
Well, surely a large dog.
Oh yeah, it was a big dog.
Big dog.
It was somewhere. It was bigger than an Alsatian, not big as a Great Dane.
Okay. Something in
So
between
sort
the
of a
two.
10.
Yeah. 10. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And it was at my house, and so I'm having some building work done at my house, and the builder had brought the dog,
Yeah.
and I love
What
dogs.
to do some plastering or something.
I love dogs, but I'm not allowed to have one. So whenever there's a dog around, I'll play with it. So
Yeah.
I've managed to find a tennis ball, thrown the tennis ball, and the dog, oh yeah, really excited, went off and got the tennis ball, brought it back to me, but didn't want to drop it. It did want to drop it,
Yeah.
but it also, at the same time, didn't
Yeah,
want to drop
yeah.
it, and it really couldn't really work out what was going on. It was upset with itself, because in its head, it thought, I want to run and get this ball again, but I don't want to go with this ball.
Yeah.
And it was growling at itself, and it was like really quite frustrated. So I was trying to get the ball in it. I got the ball out of its mouth and threw it again eventually. Came back, went through the whole process again. And at one point, I went to get the blood, got a horse,
Yeah.
and just whacked me on the eyebrow and almost knocked me out. It was quite, its head is just bone. It's quite a big dog. And I thought, wow, that dazed me. And I've got a big bruise on my head now.
So in general, the story was not as interesting as a result,
I
but
told
it
you
was
that.
quite good.
I told you that.
By the
But
way-
a dog headbutted me.
That's a good way to finish this up, except to mention that I also have videos on YouTube if you want to fancy watching them.
Just don't listen to them while you're driving the car.
Yeah,
No,
those
it's
are
too
their
loud.
video
It's a health
podcasts, their
hazard.
video podcasts. But find them on my channel, which I'm sure you can find somehow, somewhere.
So am I going to turn this off now, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, do we have to say goodbye now? We've got to say goodbye. We'd like
Yeah, but
goodbye
I've
to
got to
everyone.
get into it.
Ta-ta. Have
Merry
a
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and
Merry
a Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Have a happy New Year.
And I think that's the end, isn't it?
Goodbye.
Stop streaming. Goodbye.